Welcome to Movies in the Making. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the colorful 1939 musical fantasy film The Wizard of Oz, originally released by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and directed by Victor Fleming. Here, we will dive deep into the story of the production of this film, ranging from how Judy Garland became cast as Dorothy to the trouble faced about the song Over the Rainbow. The movie itself may look bright, but it had a dark production behind the scenes. This episode may sound disturbing to some viewers. If you do not want your childhood to be ruined by what we are covering, you have been warned. So, sit back and enjoy the show. You are all in for a surreal ride. The Wizard of Oz is adapted from the book The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, itself published in 1900. The author Baum founded the Oz Film Company in 1913. From this, 3 adaptations of the book were made, but all flopped. Baum eventually sold the rights of his book to Samuel Goldwyn for 40,000 American dollars, worth almost 930,000 American dollars today, on the 26th of January, 1934. By that point, the book had already solidified its place in American pop culture. The decision to purchase the film rights came shortly after the remarkable success of Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 1937, which proved that family-oriented fantasy films could be commercially viable. By 1938, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, under the direction of producer Mervyn LeRoy, purchased the rights from Samuel Goldwyn, who ironically was not involved regarding ownership of MGM, for 75,000 American dollars, worth almost 1,600,000 American dollars today. MGM's version of The Wizard of Oz was an ambitious project, meant to captivate audiences with a unique blend of music, color, and spectacle. MGM recognized the potential for an adaptation that would bring the fantasy to life like never before. The Land of Oz is presented as full of color. MGM decided to use this technique so that it could stand out from other films that were made at the time. MGM had been obsessed with films of the musical genre. For The Wizard of Oz, however, they used Technicolor to ensure audiences could better remember the film and give it more of an impact on culture. Definition of the word Technicolor is a multitask method by which color is produced for feature films. At the time, Technicolor was still in its early stages and had only been fully developed for use with the free color process in the 1930s. This process was a painstaking technique that involved filming scenes with 3 strips of film, each capturing either red, green, or blue, that would later be combined to create a complete full-color image. The camera used for the Technicolor is called Technicolor DF-24 Beam Splitter Motion Picture Camera and was created to use a freeze-strip system where it recorded 3 different types of the same image, one being red, one being green, and one being blue. This way, the 3 types would be combined into an entire thoroughly colored image. And it was this type of Technicolor that would be used for The Wizard of Oz to create a dazzling array of colors that added to the fantasy and surrealism of the setting. Technicolor allowed MGM to make Oz feel distinct from Kansas, Dorothy's real-world home, which was filmed in sepia tone to enhance the contrast. The transition between the sepia tone scenes in Kansas and the vibrant Technicolor scenes in Oz was achieved through an innovative use of film techniques and special effects. To show the transition between the oversaturated brown and a variety of colors without appearing to be unbelievable, Judy Garland had a stunt double named Bobby Cochet for the scene where Dorothy opens the door to reveal the colorful environment. Garland was the actress who opens the door while Cochet stepped out of the house in the same shot. Contrary to belief, The Wizard of Oz was not the first film to use Technicolor, nor was it the first to come out of MGM. The first Technicolor film from MGM was The Uninvited Guest, a silent film from 1924, and the very first feature film to use Technicolor was 1917's The Gulf Between. Before Judy Garland was cast as protagonist Dorothy, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer insisted to cast Shirley Temple because of how childlike she looked. To do this, however, MGM would have to accept a deal that if they were to get Temple from 20th Century Fox, now 20th Century Studios, that would mean MGM would give both Clark Gable and Jean Harlow to Fox. However, this deal immediately ended once Harlow died on the 7th of June, 1937. Once MGM had the film rights to L. Frank Baum's book, Mervyn LeRoy, a producer for the film, and Arthur Reed, an associate producer for the film, had cast Judy Garland to be in the film. Garland had already proven to the public to be talented with singing. However, Leos Incorporated, MGM's owner at the time, President Nicholas Schenck thought that still having Shirley Temple as the role would promise a wealthy investment return for The Wizard of Oz. MGM composer Roger Edens tried to then record Temple singing, only to confirm that it was not what was required for the role of Dorothy. From this, Garland was solidified for the role. Her portrayal remains iconic, and her performance of Over the Rainbow became a cinematic milestone defining her career. Margaret Hamilton, who portrayed the Wicked Witch of the West, was once employed as a teacher for kindergarten who would wear a witch's hat for a stage production of the source material in Cleveland. Hamilton herself had a bump on her nose and was told to remove it if she were to ever appear in any motion pictures. Yet, she pursued the acting career path to earn money and would accept any role offered to her. Before Mervyn LeRoy reluctantly cast her as the witch, Gail Sondergaard auditioned for the role. LeRoy then decided she looked too ugly for the role. After Hamilton auditioned, she got accepted into the role in October 1938. Originally, Ray Bolger, who ended up portraying the Scarecrow, first meant to portray the Tin Man. Buddy Ebsen was the Scarecrow then. However, the pair swapped roles. This meant Bolger got to portray the Scarecrow, feeling it was a better fit for his skills as a dancer and physical performer. This also meant that Ebsen got to portray the Tin Man. Unfortunately, as part of the role, Ebsen had to wear white face paint and aluminium dust, which caused him so much breath shortness from inhaling the dust and cramping that after 9 days of filming, he was transferred to the hospital for 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the role of the Tin Man now went to Jack Haley. This time, the face makeup consisted of paste. This paste caused an eye infection that made him miss filming for 4 days, but Haley was resilient enough to fulfill his role. Bert Lahr, who portrayed the Cowardly Lion, was previously an actor for Broadway. He abandoned this in 1938 so that he could focus on being a Hollywood actor. He had some experience with acting, for example, by featuring in MGM's 1931 adaptation of the musical Flying High. For his role in The Wizard of Oz, Lahr had to wear a costume that consisted of actual lion fur and weighed a total of 90 pounds, making it incredibly hot and uncomfortable to wear under the intense studio lighting. The costume also limited Lahr's movements and caused him to endure long filming sessions without adequate breaks for food or water. All the filming for The Wizard of Oz took place in Culver City Studio, located at 1020 Washington Boulevard in California. The entire set design was done by George Gibson, who started off at MGM as an illustrating storyboard artist who was then promoted as the head of the scenic design department. As part of the production design, Gibson ordered for The Wizard of Oz to be done using hand-painted scenery, which was secretly done over the span of 3 months. The musical score was written by Harold Arlen and E.Y. Harburg, who had been signed to the film by MGM in July 1938. Associate producer Arthur Freed felt that combining the two would help the film to stand out. Arlen specialized in the musical aspect, whereas Harburg specialized in the lyrical aspect. After the film was complete, Arlen confessed that contributing to the project was frustrating. For example, although Judy Garland loved listening to Over the Rainbow, it was deleted 3 times from the print of the film, much to Freed's ire. The eventual resolution was that the song was kept in the film. As part of the critical acclaim The Wizard of Oz received, Over the Rainbow won the Academy Award for Best Original Song. The underscore, meanwhile, was composed by Herbert Stothart. There were many problems happening on the set of The Wizard of Oz. For example, then 16-year-old Judy Garland had to constantly take stimulant drugs just to keep her awake during filming. Also, while portraying the Wicked Witch of the West, Margaret Hamilton wore makeup that, said she, remained on her for several months after filming was completed. Her clothes also caught fire when an effect happened too soon for her to walk away from. The consequence of this was that the fire reached some of her facial parts and burned some of her hand skin. Because The Wizard of Oz was distributed by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer in 1939, Warner Bros. Discovery currently owns the rights of the film because Ted Turner purchased the MGM library up to May 1986. Warner Bros. Purchased Turner's company, Turner Entertainment, on the 10th of October 1996, thereby giving them full ownership of the film. The film's budget was $2.8 million, more than $63 million today, and it grossed $29.7 million, more than $670 million today. As of November 2024, The Wizard of Oz has a 98 critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a 92 out of 100 score on Metacritic, an 8.1 rating on IMDb, and a 4 rating on Letterboxd. The film won 3 Academy Awards, one for Best Original Score to Herbert Stoufart, one for Best Original Song to Over the Rainbow as previously discussed, and the former Academy Juvenile Awards to Judy Garland, also for Babes in Arms. It also received 3 other nominations for Best Art Direction, Best Special Effects, and Best Picture. Over the decades, The Wizard of Oz has maintained an enduring cultural impact. Its themes of courage, friendship, and self-discovery resonate universally, while its iconic characters and visuals have influenced countless works across film, television, music, and literature. It has been the subject of extensive academic analysis, with scholars interpreting its themes as allegories for political and social issues, particularly with the populist movement of Baum's time. Others view it as a psychological journey, with Oz representing a dreamscape in which Dorothy confronts her inner fears and desires. And that wraps up our deep dive into the making of The Wizard of Oz. We've journeyed through the use of Technicolor, the problems with the costume designs, and the music that helped to bring this adaptation of the book by L. Frank Baum to life. The Wizard of Oz was more than just a film, it was a revolutionary film that later generated inspiration for future films to use color. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated on all things movies in the making. Let us know in the comments which movie you want to hear about from this channel, what you think of The Wizard of Oz, or if there are any favorite moments from the film that we did not touch upon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Movies in the Making, where we will be talking about The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, New Line Cinema 2001, and more films to follow along the way. Tune in for more Movies in the Making as we uncover the stories behind cinema's most unforgettable films. This has been Jason Scotchmer, film enthusiast and passionate about the arts.